ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this cloudy with a chance of blood deck guide. So this deck is built around the two new cards, the Golden Necker and the Prism Pendant. So I'm going to run through the cards and let you know how I think they'll work. Then what there's going to be is a video that a separate video that you can go on where it's the good it's matches that I won with this deck. There's the bad matches where I didn't play so well and the deck didn't work so well. And then we've got the ugly one where just a simple mistake can cost you the game. So I've included those after as a separate videos. So if you want to watch them after that, that's great. Now, let's get into the deck. So we've got their Nature's Gift leader charge with this. So this gives us 3 charges of vitality, of two lots of vitality. It also gives us symbiosis, which means when we play a nature card, it will spawn a wandering triad onto the board. So I've gone for the Einseid Saber for this one. This gives us 2 Scoi'atel Neophytes. It allows us to spawn a base copy of this on the other row. So it gives us 2 of the Scoi'atel Neophytes. So I've chosen this card because we are a bit short on units within this deck. There are a lot of specials and artifacts. So I wanted as many extra units on the board as I could, so that gives us that if we need it. So I've included the Royal Decree card, so this allows us to pull the units that we need from the deck. So because we're running the Golden Necker, there is a 9 provision ceiling on the cards that we can include within this. So Royal Decree can allow us to access any units that we need. Got the Shaping Nature Echo card, gives us 3 options. So one of the options is that we can boost an allied unit by 6 and give it Veil. This is useful for if you get poisoned. So even though your card retains the poison tag, once you put the Veil on it, if the opponent then tries to poison you again to destroy the unit, then the Veil will just absorb the second poison. We've got the second option is to boost an allied unit by 8. So it's really good to play at the end of a round to just slam down on the board. It's also really good with the Prism Pendant because it gives you 9 points of vitality on top of that 8 boost. Or we've got boost an allied unit by 5 and give it vitality of 5. So this is good if you're playing it on a hammerdryad. So the vitality essentially plays for double on the hammerdryads. It does have the nature tag as well, which plays well with the Nature's Gift leader charge with the symbiosis. Golden Necker. This is one of the new cards. I've seen a lot of people playing this. It allows us to play top unit, special and artifact from the deck. Yeah, it plays for a lot of value, a lot more than the 9 provisions suggests, but it does restrict the deck because you can't have a provision cost of 10 or more, as I've already mentioned. Because of that, these two go hand in hand, Sirinovi and the Golden Necker, because again it has the same condition that the provision cost of 10 or more can't be included, and then you can gain the resilience. This card's best placed at the end of the round 1 or the end of round 2. Saber-tooth Tiger, best to play this at the start of the game, because what it'll do is it'll attack enemy units if they're alone on their row, and damage them by 2. So what you'll have to do is at the end of the round you click this one and it transforms into an artifact. So it can get hit by the Barification, or a heat wave, but that's the only way that they can really deal with it. Just bear in mind, once it does flip over, if it takes damage, if you forget to click it, if it takes damage, and then you wait till the next round, then you click it. Once it flips back over again, it'll be fully healed. So it's quite useful in absorbing ice damage. We've also, oh yeah, at the end of the round as well, don't click this card. If you click this card at the end of the round, then you won't get the 7 points on the board. It'll just stay in stealth mode. So we've also got Matahuri. So if neither player has passed and your opponent's hand is not full, draw the lowest cost card and you draw the highest cost card. So what this does is this allows us to gain access to the Golden Necker or one of these other cards, but essentially it allows us to more opportunity to pull that Golden Necker out because it is such a valuable card in this deck. We got Merigold's Hailstorm. I've never seen this card played before, but because it allows us to target 5 enemy units, it works really well with the Prism Pendant. So it damages 5 enemy units by 2, which is good for 8 provisions, but it's the bleeding that it can apply once the Prism Pendant is on the board. I'll show you about that in a bit. So Isengrim's Council. So you look for one dwarf, dryad, or elf from your deck. I generally use this to try and access Gord at the end of the match or whenever I need him. So that's a useful card to have. It's also got the nature tag, which gives us our extra wandering treant. Got a Falve here, helps us to play a nature card from the deck. So again, if you don't gain access to Shaping Nature, then I generally use this to pull out the Shaping Nature. Plays for good points. We got the Gord, so boosts self each time we play a special card, but it can't exceed 12. So we generally want to play this at the end of the game. If we play a short round 3, then he plays for excellent value. Prism Pendant. Now, when I first saw this, I thought of all the possibilities. I thought it was going to work really well with Stammelford's Tremors or maybe with the Lacerate. But then I reread the card and it's like whenever you target an enemy unit, give it bleeding. So that's when I started looking at cards and how many you could target. That's when we come up with the Hailstorm. So what you can do is then you can target 5 units, you give them 2 damage, and then you'll apply 9 points of bleeding. Now, at 9 points of bleeding will never resolve itself, but it will cause your opponent a lot of problems, particularly if they've got vitality or a boosting unit. So we've got Orb of Insight. So these allow us to give us an allied unit 2 and give it 2 vitality. Then it goes into the graveyard, and then each time you use a special card, it'll count down. Once it reaches 0, it'll pop back out and you can use it again. I generally use these at the end of round 1 or the end of round 2 so that I can carry them over into the next round. I've got Sorceress of Dole bluffana. Create and play a bronze Scoi'atel special card equal or lower than this card's power. So this just allows you more access to more special cards, which will play onto Gord. If you can get nature cards, you can spawn more wandering treants. It just gives you more flexibility. We've got Nature's Rebuke. So this allows us to damage an enemy unit by 5. If we kill it, then that'll boost one of our treants by 2. It's also a nature card, so it will allow us to spawn a wandering treant. Got the hammerdryad. This is my favourite card in the deck, so this is the bread and butter of the deck, this one. So we've got the symbiosis tag on this one, so that gives us, with our symbiosis tag, if we've got this down as well, when the wandering treant spawns, it spawns with a power of 2. And at the end of the turn, if the unit has vitality, boost self by 1. So we can play leader charges onto this. It'll essentially double our vitality. So so it gives us extra value in that sense. Got a Whisper of Dole Bluffana, because we've got so many special cards and because we've got so few units. It's nice to have this down to get some more units on the board that we can then target with special cards. So this allows us to spawn a base copy of self and then remove counter. So for each time you spawn one, it'll spawn a new one with a counter on it, and then that'll spawn a new one with a counter on it until you either fill the row or until someone takes out the one with the counter on. So even with the symbiosis tag, I'd never really fill up on this, or never really clog myself. So it is a good card to have within the deck. Triads Caress. This is for Purify. So you can have Yashim Duet from Nilfgaard. If he pops onto my side, I like to get this straight on him. Get rid of that conspiracy. Boost him up so it becomes out of range of the coup de grace. Tempering, just for the nature value, and it's a special card, so it works well with Pendant. It gives us 4 vitality if we play it with the Pendant. And we got the Abandoned Girl. So the Abandoned Girl gives us the ability to transfer into a young dryad, which will then gives us symbiosis. It'll also give us vitality equal to the number of dryads on this row, including itself. Okay, so that's the guide. So I'm going to put the gameplay on separate videos. So if you want to watch the good, the ones where I win, if you want to watch one where I lose, you can watch that in the bad. And if you want to watch one where I just fail by making a mistake, then that's in the ugly. So if you want to go on those, yeah, the links are in the description, and let me know if you improve upon this deck or if you have any success or failures with this deck. All right, thank you.